to the recordings to put on our YouTube page. But now I will turn it over to Luke. He's the nutritional coach at the Natural Grocers over off of University and, Dry Creek and Arapahoe, I believe. The one over by South Glen.
University, yeah.
Yes.
University and Arapahoe. Yeah.
Okay, University and Arapahoe. All my landmarks are getting turned around right now. And he's going to talk to us about alternative ways to ensure that we stay protected during the summer months.
Cool. Well, thanks all for joining. I'm just going to do a quick little bio on myself, a little background, and then we can get started. So I've been with Natural Grocers for about 5 years now, 5 years coming in September. I wasn't a health coach that whole time. I was at another store, moved up to department manager, worked on the vitamins floor, did just about everything, and learned a lot. This company is great with their standards and everything from customer service to their sales. We just do it all. It's an awesome company to work for. So, but about the end of last year, I moved over to Cherry Knolls, which is where I am now, and I'm the health coach. It was my goal from the beginning to be a health coach. I was going through a program from Nutrition Therapy Institute in Denver, and I got a certificate with nutrition therapy practitioner as a nutrition therapy practitioner. So, and then I have a bachelor's degree in adult fitness as well. So I have a good background with nutrition and health, and working here at the store. It's a lot of fun. It's really interesting stuff too. I absolutely love it. So now to the class. So first I'm going to do a little intro, and then we'll do the class. I'll do a little show and tell at the end so that you guys can see some of the products that I'm mentioning, and then I'll leave it open to questions. So just hold your questions until the end. There's a lot of information to cover, and there's some complex concepts that I'll go over too. So write down your information or your questions, and I'll be happy to answer them the best I can at the end. So I'm gonna turn my video off and then get started. So today's class is protecting your skin from the inside out, and why sunscreen is just not enough. And like Claire was saying, it's a perfect time to talk about this right now. It's summertime, and we're going to be enjoying the sunshine any way we can. But research has been showing that sunscreen can fall short with sun protection. So we're going to be talking about what other things we can do to protect ourselves in addition to sunscreen. Before we get into that though, I'm going to do a little disclaimer. Hold on. Oops. Little disclaimer first. So this class is not intended to treat, diagnose, or mitigate any disease. Dietary supplements and foods can interact with prescription medications. If you are taking a prescription medication, become informed about possible interactions. So now that we've got that out of the way, I'm going to share some reasons why Natural Grocers is unique. We're a company that was founded on 5 principles. Number 1 is dedicated to providing nutrition education. And that's not only through services like this, like for you guys listening, for our community, but also for our customers that come in. We have customer literature files to hand out. We have us on the floor to talk people through buying supplements. And then we also educate our employees on different subjects as well. Number 2, we're committed to quality. We are very picky on what products we carry and why. Our meat and dairy standards are the highest in the industry. We also have top quality supplements. You can find a lot of different supplements, but we make sure that they're all GMP certified and top notch. Number 3, we're committed to everyday affordable pricing. We do this through sales, monthly sales, as well as our Empower member pricing. Number 4, we're committed to our community, not only through services like this class, but also through donating to local food banks. At my store here, we donate to Food Bank of the Rockies. So every time you bring in your own bag, we donate 5 cents to food bank, and that's for any store. Number 5, we're committed to our employees and anybody that we work with. So now to the main event, the skin, which is the largest organ in or on the body, however way you look at it. It's complete with special layers of tissue and cells, its own blood supply, and antioxidants, and many more things. In today's class, I'll be talking about more specifically aging of the skin, how the sun damages our skin and makes us age unnaturally, inside out protection, and why I keep saying that and what that actually means, dietary support of the skin health as well, of skin health. My goal today is to educate you on what to look for and teach you how to take care of your skin from the inside out with diet and supplements. This is so that your skin can age as naturally and gracefully as possible. So let's get to it. So it's inevitable that your skin will age. However, we won't all age at the same rate. The aging process consists of 2 different paths: a natural, graceful aging, or the unnatural, accelerated aging due to skin damage. The prevention of unnatural aging and supporting skin health is very important. Americans spend roughly $13 billion annually on skin and hair care products. This is a huge industry, and it's become full of confusing claims and products that have limited scientific evidence. So what are some characteristics of unnatural or accelerated skin aging? Well, there's wrinkles, sagging skin, sunspots, etc. However, these changes can be slowed by protecting our skin from the inside out with diet and supplements. And we'll be looking at what, quote, protecting from inside out actually means later on in our class. First, I'm going to ask you guys a question. And I know I can't hear your responses, so just think to yourself for a moment on the answer. What causes unnatural aging of the skin? Elevated blood sugar, cigarette smoke, excessive alcohol intake, ultraviolet rays and sunlight, or E, all of the above? If you were thinking any of these, you were correct. It is all of the above. And other causes of skin aging include trauma, hormonal imbalances, psychological stress, and pollution. One of the leading causes of unnatural or accelerated skin aging is sun damage. This is unfortunate because we're all hardwired to enjoy the sun. In fact, it stimulates the very important vitamin B as well as endorphins. It also regulates the circadian rhythm by influencing production of melatonin. We just need to enjoy the sunshine more responsibly by protecting ourselves from harmful side effects of the sun rays. Speaking of sun rays, skin is damaged by high energy ultraviolet rays in sunlight. We've heard the term UV rays. More specifically, there are 3 different rays. UVC rays, which don't reach the Earth's surface, UVB rays, which make up only 5% of total UV rays. It stimulates vitamin D production and is also the main cause of sunburns. UVA rays account for 95% of UV rays. It doesn't cause a sunburn, but penetrates deeper in the skin, causing damage. Oh wait, there's more. Even though UVB rays only account for 5% of total UV rays, the cosmetic industry and dermatologists have focused on protecting us from them because they cause a sunburn, and you can see that damage firsthand and feel it for sure. Since UVA rays don't cause a sunburn, it was not studied, and protection was pretty much ignored. As we begin to learn more and more about UVA rays, though, it turns out UVA rays are present throughout the day, and it does not have seasonal changes or changes in clouds. Kind of like now, it's overcast for us here. So UVA rays are present even now. But as seen with UVB rays, they're only really present during the summer months between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So by ignoring UVA rays, scientists may have missed a key piece of the puzzle. And that was kind of a lot of information all at once. But to better understand how UV rays damage the skin, let's take a look at the structure of the skin. Who all remembers the different layers of the skin? There's three. There's the epidermis, the dermis, and the hypodermis. The epidermis is the top layer, and it consists of cells that have a fast turnover and replication process. The dermis and the hypodermis lie below the epidermis, and they contain long-lived proteins that give the skin structure as well as the blood supply. The epidermis consists mostly of cells like melanocytes, the cells that give us our natural skin color. The dermis, as I mentioned, contain proteins that provide strength and elasticity to the skin. These proteins are called collagen and elastin. The dermis also contains sweat and oil glands. But production of collagen and elastin goes down with aging or when the dermis has been damaged. When it's damaged is when we see formation of skin wrinkles. We can also see sweat and oil production fall below optimal levels as we age. Production of oil can drop as much as 65% in unnatural aging. So how do UV rays damage our skin? Well, UVB rays only penetrate the epidermis, and it accounts for about 40% of skin damage. UVB rays also directly damage DNA and cause cells to mutate. You can think of this ray as the burning ray, since it causes that sunburn that you can see and feel. B for burn, UVB. UVA rays, on the other hand, can penetrate deeper all the way to the dermis, where collagen, elastin, sweat and oil glands, and blood vessels live. It accounts for 60% of sun damage. You can also think of this as the aging ray, A for aging. Other than reaching different levels of the skin, what else happens when UV rays hit our skin? Free radical damage. Those pesky free radicals can damage DNA and suppress immune function. Free radicals created by UVA rays damage collagen and elastin found deep in the dermis. In response, cells in the skin produce inflammatory compounds. In this case, free radicals act as danger signals to immune cells that reside in the skin. Immune cells will begin producing inflammatory signals, which results in the warm and red look and feel to the skin without getting an actual burn. If inflammation in the skin directly causes suppression of the immune system. When suppressed, mutant cells are not killed and leading to expansion of mutant immune cells. This was another earful of information. So let's go ahead and summarize what I've said so far. So UVA rays, also known as the aging ray, reaches deep down into the dermis, and it damages the dermis, which is where collagen, elastin, sweat and oil glands reside. It's also present year-round and doesn't have any seasonal changes, or even if there's clouds present, it's still there during the day. UVB rays is the burn ray or sunburn ray. It synthesizes vitamin D, causes cellular mutation, and also is only really present between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. during the summer months. Not listed here on the slide is also UVC ray. You can think of the UVC rays as the cooking ray, not because it's really good for cooking barbecues, but because you would be the barbecue if it reached our Earth's surface. It is an extreme dose of radiation. Most people over the age of 65 have at least one sign of skin damage. Unnatural skin aging results in the decrease in thickness of the epidermis, which leads to poor wound healing. Also, the dermis has less collagen, leading to rough wrinkles. Now, I haven't mentioned sunscreen a whole lot, and that's part of the title for our class. So let's go ahead and talk about sunscreen for a bit. Most experts and the World Health Organization believe people underapply sunscreen. Recommended sunscreen application is 2 milligrams per centimeter, or 1 ounce per application. And many bottles are between 4 and 6 ounces. So that's about a quarter of a bottle per application. Americans apply about a quarter of what's recommended, 0.5 milligrams per centimeter. This makes a SPF 40 act like an SPF 10. And many sunscreens start losing protection, UVB rays after 4 hours and UVA rays after 90 minutes. On top of all of that, chemicals found in sunscreen, which even though they're blocking UV rays, generate free radicals themselves and cause free radical damage. And remember that UVB rays have been studied the most and have a special protection rating system, SPF. So look for sunscreen that has full spectrum or broad spectrum protection. This will ensure that you're protected by both UVA and UVB rays. Let's put it into context and talk about how much sunscreen we need to use to get the full benefit. Think about a family of 4 at the beach for 6 hours using a 6-ounce bottle of sunscreen. 1 round of sunscreen application would use 2/3 a bottle of sunscreen. If they need to do 3 rounds of sunscreen application, reapplying every 90 to 120 minutes, that is 2 bottles of sunscreen. Also, you should reapply if you've gone swimming or have been sweating heavily. You could be talking about 3 bottles of sunscreen for 1 trip to the beach. That's a lot of sunscreen. And it's important to note that I'm not saying that you shouldn't wear sunscreen or that it's useless. Simply, it falls short. And when combined with nutrients, we get the full coverage we need without having to spend a fortune on something alone. So what does this all mean? UV rays and sunlight are a major cause of accelerated or unnatural skin aging. UVA rays are always present and penetrate deeper into the skin than UVB rays. Sunscreen alone is inadequate for total and long-lasting UV protection. So now to the main event, This is when the title of the movie is finally mentioned, revealing the reason why it was titled that way to begin with, which is always the best part. How can we protect ourselves if sunscreen falls short? In other words, say it with me now, how can we protect ourselves from the inside out? I imagine you guys saying it at the same time as me. Do we have natural defenses to protect us against UV rays and free radicals? The answer is a big fat yes. This is perhaps best explained by looking at the natural defenses in our skin. Stay with me now. Taking a closer look at the skin again, the closer we are to the surface, the more antioxidants present. Both the dermis and the epidermis have high levels of antioxidants, with the epidermis having the highest concentration. Antioxidants found include vitamin C, vitamin E, and carotenoids. So what are antioxidants exactly? Well, antioxidants are free radical scavengers. They destroy free radicals created by just about everything, but in this case, UV exposure. Because of the structure, some block or even absorb UV rays, stopping generation of free radicals to begin with. And we'll get to more on that a little later in the class. Every major antioxidant in the body can be found in the skin, and there must be a reason for this. They act as our body's natural internal sun defense by defending against free radicals. The skin is exposed to free radicals constantly. So where do we get antioxidants? Food, of course. Unfortunately, they become used up quick, and some, like vitamin E, sacrifice themselves to destroy free radicals. Therefore, we need to replenish through a nutrient-dense diet and or supplementation. What are some supplement types? Should we be putting them directly on our skin, or should we take them orally? Both. Topical creams are specially formulated to absorb into the skin. They don't directly block UV rays, but are more of a complement to sunscreen use. Now let's jump to different types of antioxidants that are best for the skin. One family of antioxidants best for skin health are carotenoids. These include astaxanthin, lutein, lycopene, and zeaxanthin. These are going to be sourced from the reds and oranges and yellows of fruits and vegetables. They also come in, all these different carotenoids come in supplement form as well. Carotenoids accumulate in the skin and eyes over other tissues and act as a natural sunscreen. And there's a reason for this. Eyes and skin are highly exposed to free radicals constantly. Like I mentioned before, carotenoids are antioxidants that destroy those free radicals. A study from the Journal of Nutrition found consuming 16 milligrams of lycopene per day for 10 weeks had a 40% reduction in sunburns. Another study showed oral or topical supplementation of lutein and zeaxanthin support healthy aging of the skin. And most supplements have lutein and zeaxanthin combined. Another source of for topical use of lutein is calendula, which is the marigold flower. That's where lutein comes from. So if calendula is very healing for the skin, soothing, moisturizing, and that's where you're going to get that lutein. Lutein also happens to be one of Natural Grocers' Foundation 5 supplements. And something that we are getting exposed to more and more that these two carotenoids can protect us from is blue light. The effects of blue light is understudied, but because it's at an increase, it's gaining more and more attention. Blue light is capable of destroying mitochondria in the cells. In the visible light spectrum, blue light has the most energy, and it's very close to UV light on the scale. You can see on the slide here. It creates a very unique type of free radical, and we're exposed through it with LED lights, computer screens, phones, TVs, and you can now turn a lot of those devices into night mode, and that's going to help with that blue light exposure. Thinking about how much we're exposed to blue light is kind of scary, and it makes me want to throw on a pair of sunglasses whenever I'm in front of the computer. Well, most of it is out of our hands with the rise of LED use, TVs, phones, etc. The best we can do is look into carotenoids, and lutein and zeaxanthin come to save the day again. They're especially effective at protecting our eyes and skin, as I mentioned before. They absorb and filter blue light and are very good at scavenging superoxide, which is the free radical associated with blue light exposure. Another great group of phytonutrients to help support our skin from UV rays are polyphenols. And what are polyphenols? These are naturally occurring in plants, support the health of immune cells in the skin. They ensure a balanced inflammatory response. Think back to that concept I was talking about with UVA free radicals producing inflammation in the skin and messing with our immune cells in the skin. Some polyphenols absorb UV light. Unfortunately, they can be destroyed during cooking. So there's supplements to ensure that you get a particular polyphenol and a particular amount of that polyphenol. So what are some examples, you ask? Well, let's look at some right now. The bark from the French maritime pine tree yields a polyphenol known as pycnogenol. A study showed taking 100 milligrams a day for 8 weeks reduced sunburn and sun damage. Grapeseed extract is cheaper and has been shown to have similar benefits with its proanthocyanin source. Next on the list is green tea. Green tea contains ECGC, and don't make me say what that stands for. It's a long, scary word. A study found that drinking 40 ounces prior to UVA exposure reduced cell damage. You heard me right, 40 ounces. And I know what you're thinking, Luke, 40 ounces is a lot of green tea. And I don't expect you to drink 40 ounces every time you go outside. And these are studies. So the point is they're showing how these polyphenols protect us from sun damage. Same with the pycnogenol. 100 milligrams a day is a lot. The bottle from the previous slide shows 25 milligrams per serving. So you would be taking a lot. I would stick to whatever it says on the bottle. The next on our list is milk thistle. Milk thistle contains silymarin. Silymarin is effective as a topical or oral supplement. It acts as a UV filter and blocks UV rays. Many polyphenols are well absorbed through the skin, so they are good as a topical free radical scavenger as well. All three of these nutrients can be used topically. In addition, silymarin and green tea have the benefit of working as UVB filters and providing UV protection when applied topically as well. For the next couple slides, let's take a look at vitamins, more specifically vitamin C and E. The active form of vitamin C is ascorbic acid. It can be used as topical cream or supplement. When looking for vitamin C products for the skin, look for ascorbic acid. This form is easily used in the body, and it's not only does vitamin C scavenge free radicals, but it's also a critical component in collagen production, which is essential for skin repair. Topical vitamin E reduces skin damage from UV rays. Remember how I said way in the beginning that vitamin E sacrifices itself to destroy free radicals? It's super heroic. And vitamin E and C work synergistically to protect the skin. A study showed taking 1,000 IU of E and 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C for 8 days increased time in the sun without sunburn. And again, this is for study purposes, showing how much these antioxidants will protect our skin. So I would just recommend sticking to what the bottle says to take. Don't go overboard on these nutrients. Now to fatty acids and how they can protect our skin. EPA and DHA are omega-3 fatty acids that support balanced levels of inflammation in the skin. This inflammation is a major cause of accelerated aging. DHA and EPA, along with other fatty acids, are prominent in a Greek diet. And it's shown that there's low rates of skin cancer in people living in Greece despite having high exposure to solar radiation. So what's so special about a Greek diet? We can start answering this question by asking another question. A traditional Greek diet gets approximately 50% of its calories from A, healthy fats, B, carbohydrates, C, protein, D, wine. No, it's not wine, it's healthy fats. Olive oil, grass-fed lamb, and seafood provide monounsaturated fats, healthy saturated fats, and EPA and DHA respectively. This is what makes a Greek diet so special. High intake of vegetables, providing the free radical scavengers we covered earlier, vitamin C, carotenoids, and polyphenols. And now you guys are pros at why they're so beneficial. Protein sources are grass-fed, providing the optimal 1-to-1 ratio of omega-6 and omega-3. This diet is very similar to what natural grocer nutritional health coaches recommend and is included in our healthy meal wheel, although they include a much higher intake of fat. DHA and EPA also happen to be one of our Foundation 5 supplements, so lutein and EPA and DHA. So how does fat support skin health? Saturated and monounsaturated fats support growth of healthy microbes in the skin. If we look closer at the makeup of the compounds of our skin, the oils are made up of lauric and saponic acid, which are both saturated and monounsaturated fats, respectively. Other research shows not eating enough healthy fats such as EPA and DHA or too many omega-6 fats can damage the skin barrier. Olive oil not only provides fatty acids, mainly monounsaturated fats, to support the skin, but also polyphenols that prevent unnatural aging. So these are all dietary changes to support skin health, but can my diet damage my skin? Or more like, how does my diet damage my skin? We can take a look at blood sugar levels to get a better understanding. And this is another more complex concept, but it's super interesting. And it's something I believe everyone should be aware of the processes in the body that happen when we eat sugar and carbs. The blood sugar roller coaster is the highs and lows of our blood sugar resulting after consuming high concentration of sources of sugar or too many carbohydrates without enough protein to slow the absorption and balance out the macronutrients, the proteins, fats, and carbs. It creates hormonal and biochemical stressors in the body. Biochemical stressors are, in this case, is the advanced glycation end products, AGES, or AGES. After eating a meal containing sugar and refined carbs, blood sugar spikes. When there's too much sugar present, it begins to stick to proteins it's not supposed to attach to. And that's what this AGES is. When AGES accumulate on protein, that protein does not function properly. Think of like a key covered in sap or goo. It's not going to function as properly. And a side note, blood sugar swings are enough to create AGES. You don't have to be pre-diabetic to be at risk. This makes eating a balanced meal of macronutrients, the proteins, fats, and carbs, very important, especially at the beginning of the day for breakfast, because once starting off your day off right is very important for that blood sugar roller coaster. This roller coaster puts a lot of stress on the body and it's not good for the skin. Let's take a closer look at the effects of AGES on the dermis. AGES age the skin. AGES are thought to primarily affect proteins that have slow regeneration. The life of collagen fibers is estimated to be about 10 years. AGES attach to collagen and elastin in the dermis, causing them to become entangled and stiff. When the cells of the dermis, the epidermis, sit on a healthy dermis, they form a nice, consistent barrier, which is on the left. However, if the dermis is damaged, the barrier is not as smooth and it leads to rough wrinkles and infections. That's showcased on the right. Now to bring it back to the topic of the day. AGES have been shown to increase the amount of free radicals created from UV radiation. So now you're thinking, what can be done to combat AGES? Well, to start, stabilizing blood sugar by eliminating refined carbs and not going overboard on carbs, including the balanced macronutrient meals of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates is a good start. But since AGES form free radicals, the free radical scavengers we've been discussing will protect us, more specifically green tea. Because it's so well researched, we know that the polyphenol in green tea, ECGC, block AGES production altogether. And I don't think you have to drink 40 ounces to get those benefits. And there are some other nutrients that block AGES production as well. They include vitamin C, vitamin E, zinc, cinnamon, ginger, etc. Alpha lipoic acid and green tea also have been shown to repair age damage. Now to sum it up with some key takeaways. UV rays are a major cause of skin damage and aging. Sun damage is thought to be an external problem, but internal solutions are essential. Protect yourself from sun damage with antioxidants, polyphenols, and skin-supportive fatty acids. A diet can support or damage skin health, so choose to support the health of your skin with a healthy diet. And we have lots of books here at the store with explaining a lot of these concepts in much more detail, as well as customer literature files available that also give a lot of good information and resources that you can look up and read. And we have handouts on the blood sugar roller coaster and healthy meal wheel as well. So that is the conclusion of the class. I'm going to do a quick show and tell of the nutrients that we covered, so you can kind of see what to look for on the shelf. First up, we have ECGC, which is green tea extract. This bottle here is $20.99. It's a great bottle. It has 180 capsules in there, and it's 1 capsule per serving. Pycnogenol from the maritime pine tree, and astaxanthin as well. This guy is $22.59. We have the great lutein and zeaxanthin in there. There's 20 milligrams of lutein and 3.5 milligrams of zeaxanthin, which is a pretty common combination of the two. And this guy is $13.49. This is an excellent supplement, and one of our Foundation 5 supplements. As far as skincare, this line Mad Hippie was actually formulated originally for protecting your skin from sun damage, not just from sunscreen, but they include a lot of antioxidants and polyphenols. So I just grabbed a couple examples here. They have a fairly small line of things, but face cream, face wash, eye cream, there's a face sunscreen as well. And this is one of my favorite sunscreens ever. Unfortunately, it's only a 3-ounce bottle. It is $12.75 for it, but it is an excellent sunscreen for being mineral-based. Zinc oxide, it doesn't leave you with that zinc oxide white coating as a lot will. It's broad spectrum, so it's going to protect you from UVA and UVB rays. We don't have a bigger bottle. We have a spray version of this and then the kids version. There's not too much difference between the two since all of our sunscreens are mineral-based. They're going to have fairly similar ingredients as far as the skin protection, but they may add, aloe or something else different in there for more sensitive skin. So these are great sunscreens that you can do. So in combination with all of that, that's where you're going to get the most protection. And real quick, before we get to questions, just kind of going over some of the other things I mentioned. So this is our little brochure on our Foundation 5 supplements. These are the supplements that Natural Grocers has picked out as like a good foundation that covers just about everything. Multivitamin, magnesium, EPA and DHA, which we talked about, and lutein. And both of those are on this list because of the reasons we went over, as well as a ton of other ones. And there's also the super nutrient, which is kind of more of a umbrella of the things that you wouldn't get in a multivitamin, like CoQ10 and turmeric and garlic and beets, as well as we have a handout showcasing the blood sugar roller coaster too, showing what it would normally in normal response, and then if you were to have high carbohydrates first thing in the morning, not a lot of balance with your meals, that's kind of going to get you on that. And then our healthy meal wheel, which kind of looks like a plate, and you kind of have the different percentages of each macronutrient. There's a list of different ones that you can kind of choose from. And both of those handouts, we go way more in depth in a coaching session. If you were to do a coaching session, we would talk about blood sugar, because a lot of things will lead to blood sugar imbalance, and healthy meal wheel, which is the basis of a healthy diet. So those are the kinds of things that we would go over, not so much on the floor because it's a lot. We would do it in a private coaching session. We are doing coaching sessions right now, strictly over the phone. There's nothing in person at this time, but we're doing them over the phone and virtually through Microsoft Teams. So if that's something you're interested in, even to get just kind of, you're unsure about what a healthy diet would consist of, we can always just kind of start with the basics, go over the healthy meal wheel, talk about what a good diet looks like, and including those healthy fats, getting some good carbs and protein in there. So you can always sign up for those anytime. Come in, call me, and we can schedule a time to do that. So now that's everything I have. So we can open it up to questions. Any questions for me? It's a lot of stuff to go over. So there are these customer literature files that are great for kind of getting a good basis of information. So.
And if anyone is not able to use your microphone, you can feel free to put questions in the chat. I will check for those. Thank you, Connie.
Yeah, thanks.
Right, well, I don't see anything coming through, so Luke gave everybody his contact information, so if questions come up after the fact,
Yeah,
probably reach out to him there. We will be putting this up on our YouTube at some point in time, but I don't know exactly when that'll go up, but that'll give you another opportunity to watch it and refresh your memory. And in the meantime, thank you, Luke, very much for the program. I know we'll have you back in August for a program on the importance of organic when considering options.
Yeah,
So we'll
yeah.
look forward to seeing you then.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Claire.
The folks in the virtual world. Right.
Yeah, thanks for everyone for listening, and thanks for having me, and I'll see you guys next time.